platform you are watching upon. Share the show, like the show. Unlike any other media platform out there, the program is dynamic, and you, the viewer and listener, can offer perspective and shape the discussion with questions and comments. The only rule we really have here, it's the golden rule. So if you're offering questions and comments, it's just got to be from a point of respect. We'll highlight some of the viewers and listeners that are on our show. And again, retweet it, like it, share it. Bill McChesney watching the program. The mayor of McIntyre, Holly Foster in Henrico. Liza Borges, hello. Joshua Tracy, the realtor, hello and welcome to the program. Jamie Turner in Culpeper. Kevin Yancey in Waynesboro. Eric Gunderson, the real estate investor, hello. Johnny Ornalis, the owner of Guadalajara and El Mariachi, hello. Andrew Vaughn, the entrepreneur, hello. Jason Howard, Rio Road, Que Pasa Chico. Travis Hackworth in Danville, Virginia. Jesse Rutherford, Nelson County Board of Supervisor, hello. Laura Fonner, hello. Nora Gaffney, hello. If I'm not saying your name, it's not because I love you, it's just because there's a lot of people watching right now. Cully Baggett, the real estate developer, hello. Mike Kinnick, welcome to the program, my friend. The entrepreneur to be. Jeff Fogel, the civil rights attorney watching the program. Sam McGrain, I know you love craft beer, you're going to love this interview. Juan Sarmiento, watching at maybe a shop here with the fleet of Charlottesville City vehicles, hello. Jen Finazzo, hello. One-time Mayor Dave Norris, hello. Ray Cadell, hello. Dino, I love you, Dino. He's watching on LinkedIn. Live on every social channel, waiting, known to mankind. Judah, how you feeling? Feeling good? Fantastic. We can rock and roll. Hello, Dino. I love when you watch your show. Your pizza is amazing, Dino. And so is Muthru, and so is your pasta business. I love to give you props, my friend. I love to give props to people who are doing great things. J-Dubs, my friend, we can rock and roll when you're ready. Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and this is the I Love CVille show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in our building in downtown Charlottesville on Market Street, and it's an absolute pleasure to connect with you through a network that we birthed 6 years ago that has just blossomed beyond our dreams and our expectations. Today's program is dynamic. You, the viewer and listener, can offer thoughts and perspective and shape the course of the next hour and change with your ideas and your preguntas, which is questions in Spanish. We'll give some props to Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Integrated Medicine for being a part of the show. Dr. Wagner has your back. I've literally see it with my own eyes, how he's changed people's lives. And I'll tell you what, I am so very proud to partner with the Charlottesville Police Department to champion the boys and ladies in blue. We back the blue on this network, and we encourage you to be the change you want to see and join the police department and help fill this force in the vacant seats that they have in the department. Judah Wickhauer is the director. Props to you. Single and ready to mingle. Let's get this guy dating, out and about. Perhaps one on the near horizon, which makes me very, very excited, Judah Wickhauer. Can we go to the studio camera and welcome the gentleman who I'm very excited to introduce you to. Dr. John Shabe is in the house, the man who is the visionary behind Pro Granada Brewery. You may know him as a dentist. I know him as a music aficionado, a craft beer lover, a man who creates a space that is absolutely welcoming to families, to kids, and guys like me that like to drink cold beer and have their kids running around on a safe playground in Crozet. Brian Combs is a music aficionado, craft beer lover, one of the best marketers I know, understands branding and social media as well as anyone in the Central Virginia market. I sincerely mean that. And this gentleman is new to me. He is Chip Clark. He is a developer, a visionary, a man that takes buildings and huffs new life into them, and he is undoubtedly helping revitalize Stanton and its business ecosystem. Judah, studio camera and 4-shot. If we can start with Dr. John. For the few people that don't know you, introduce yourself.
My name is Dr. John Shabe. I've been a Charlottesville resident Crozet resident for 16 or 17 years. We moved down here in 2004. And I've been a dentist in Charlottesville and Crozet for the last 16, 17 years, 10 years up in Maryland. I've actually retired from dentistry 2 weeks ago to pursue these new endeavors with Pro Renata.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're giving the guy some props. You retired?
I retired
from
from
your
dentistry.
first passion?
It was 29 years.
It was time?
Pro Renata's a lot more fun.
Yeah, I bet it is.
I really love the building aspect of it, the visionary stuff. The day-to-day of the business is not what I do. I hire people to do that, and I let them do their jobs. So we started Pro Renata. The idea came up in 2014 with my best friend, Andrew Messina, who without him, none of this actually happens. We've been best friends for 35 years, and I pitched him on the idea. He's an ABC TV executive up in New York, and he came down for Thanksgiving, saw what we were going to do at the Moose Lodge, and gave it a total thumbs up, and he's been incredibly supportive of this whole endeavor. And we're about to celebrate our 8th year, and we never in a million years envisioned that it was going to turn into what it did. And that's, a thanks to the community and those people that have worked for us over the years. We love what we're doing, and we want to expand Pro Renata over into Stanton, which I think is a phenomenal town that's up and coming.
Oh, Stanton is hot. And the expensive housing and expensive ecosystem that is Charlottesville and Albemarle County is driving momentum and tailwinds to Stanton undoubtedly. Brian Combs, we got to get you in the mix, my friend. Introduce yourself to everyone that's watching the program.
Hi, I'm Brian Combs. I've been with Pro Renata since the very beginning. I think I was John's first hire.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the original GM there, and it's been quite a ride there. I've seen a lot of progress, and I've seen a lot of happy faces. The good thing about the job, the best part for me is I get to do a lot of things that I enjoy in life, which I love music. Music is one of my passions, so I get to book all the bands at Pro Renata. I get to meet all the bands. I get to interact with the musicians, the people in the crowd who love music, get feedback, have people in, recommendations. I love beer. You can't get much better than Pro Renata's beer, so I love hanging out there. And, the food's great, the atmosphere is great. And I now live in Stanton, so I relocated to Stanton about 2 years ago.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I'm about 3 minutes from the proposed Pro Renata location in Stanton.
Walking.
So, yes, 3 minutes walking, so very close.
Fantastic.
So yeah, and I've gotten to know Stanton really well. It's a great city, and I'm enjoying my time there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next few years have in store for us over there.
I'm so very excited to champion Stanton for the next hour and change. I'm extremely bullish on Stanton's future. First, let's get to Chip Clark, a gentleman that I'm getting to know. My friend, the show is yours. Introduce yourself.
So my name's Chip Clark. I came to Stanton in 1993 as a speech therapist over at Woodrow Wilson Rehab Center, and I'd had my own company for a number of years after that, kind of working on devices for people who can't speak. That had been my business for 25 years, I think, is about as far as we've gone. My wife and I had built that up over time, and then started acquiring some buildings in downtown Stanton. So we started off at the old Black Swan Books. Not Black Swan Books, that would have been the Book Stack, turned into another bookstore when we were done. That's right on the 1 East Beverly Street, right on the corner down there, and then began renovating one building after the other. We've done the Beverly Restaurant, and then formed another company that actually started with Seth Liskey and Ben Carr called BCS Holdings, and we started renovating from there. So it's been kind of a neat run of building up all these different entities and reviving town and breathing new life into these buildings, and seeing where they've gone.
Harrisonburg, Virginia, watching the program. Hello, Barbara Kleiss, the Resource Development Director. Lynchburg, Danville, Martinsville, McLean, Arlington, Charlotte, the Baltimore area, Crozet, Keswick, North Downtown on our heat map. John, the show is yours. Set the table of what you guys are trying to do.
So when Pro Renata opened, we had the small little tasting room and a small little brewing area. And probably a month after we opened, I called my best friend Andrew and I said, we're going to need a bigger boat. And we were overflowing already. We ended up building the shipping container bar in the back. And then come 2017, we started building the main tap room, which is our music space that we are super proud of. We've got so many good bands that come through there, and I'm going to name some of the bands later on. But that's what's really transformed what we do. It grew so fast, we can't keep up with the manufacturing of beer. And I want to throw props out to a person that has helped us tremendously, Taylor Smack from Blue Mountain Brewery and Todd Rath. Todd put Taylor and I together, and Taylor has graciously been brewing about 60% of our beer for the last couple of years because we can't make enough beer. It's our formulas and things that we do, but hats off to Taylor. Thanks very much for everything you do for us. And that's where kind of Stanton came into play is 6 years ago I started looking at that building and fell in love with the building. Long story short, we ended up getting the building, but that's going to be a production facility for us. It's a 33,000 square foot building.
It's massive.
It's massive. It's, and it
Put a comp out there for us so we understand the size of it. What's Pro Renata?
Stanton is 7 times bigger than Pro Renata.
Damn, that's impressive.
It's 7 times bigger. It's a huge facility, and we're not going to use all that space initially, but I don't ever see us outgrowing it either. So what we're trying to do is create a beer manufacturing facility and a tap room there. From that tap room, we'll supply Pro Renata its beer in Crozet, and then we'll get into the sister project that we're doing over with Chip at the steam plant, which in my opinion is the coolest building in Stanton. And one of the buildings that I looked at 6 years ago and didn't know at the time that Chip had already bought it.
Fantastic. I would love to weave Chip in the mix here. And Bob Shada's watching the program. Bob, you've had many a cold beer at Pro Renata. You've gotten down to many a live gig at Pro Renata. Chip, the show is yours. Talk to us. You've been in Stanton since '93. So quick math right there. We're talking 30 years here.
That would be about right.
You've seen the
Seen
flip
that.
book of Stanton.
Yep.
Give us that flip book and that transformation of what you've seen firsthand.
So it's been interesting, you know, the town for a long time, up until probably about 2009 and 10, had been actually fairly stagnant. It hadn't been changing a lot. There was a lot of vacancies and things like that. So when we came in and did our first building, there was probably about a 40 or 50% vacancy rate on Beverly Street. And then what we saw trend as both the economy turned around at that point and things started to expand is downtown really started to pick up. We've gotten a lot of good core businesses down there. We had a lot of restaurants that came in and started to build up that Beverly block back up to the consistency that we're seeing today. And also saw a whole trend of new renovations coming in to kind of build that up. And it's gotten a lot more stable and a whole lot less in the vacancy rate now. So it's nice to see that busy and that the business and traffic going through all the time.
Barbara Eden watching the program. She says, hi, Doc. She's watching in, is it Boynton Beach, Florida?
Could be.
Right now.
She's in her RV, I would assume.
We have 7 states watching the show right now. Brian Combs, you have the finger on your pulse on a lot of things. Music, beer, small business, branding. Talk to us of what you've seen through this transformation, through this evolution, through this flip book, progress and momentum, anything you want to highlight.
Yeah, when I moved to Stanton 2 years ago, I mean, my wife and I used to walk around downtown Stanton and just, you know, I guess this is post-COVID time, so some of the places weren't open yet, and it was kind of smaller traffic and all that. But the buildings were just amazing. I've lived in some pretty cool places in the United States, Boulder, Park City, Utah, and they all have these sort of like nice downtown areas that are walkable with great old buildings. And they bring a lot of people from out of town. You see a lot of people walking around with cameras, taking pictures of the architecture, and I was looking around, I was like, holy cow, this place is amazing. I mean, when I lived in Crozet, I didn't come to Stanton that often. I mean, a few times, maybe a year, if that. And just seeing it, I thought there was a lot of opportunity for everything in Stanton, honestly, for any kind of business. I see a business and I immediately think, oh, that'd be a great place for a brewery. You know, it's like, I'm always seeing that.
You see opportunity everywhere. I think all gentlemen at this table see opportunity everywhere. Maybe our Achilles heel is reeling in where we see opportunity everywhere and cherry picking the best paths. Todd Rath watching the program, he says, Chip, my man, you're going to have to help me with this. SUNY Ganasso grad, baby, 10 minutes from family home in New York.
Another Geneseo person.
Geneseo,
right?
okay,
Nice.
thank you very much. Todd
very
Rath
cool.
is the owner of Blue Toad Hard Cider, just a fantastic guy, one of your Inner Circle friends.
Inner Circle friend, just was up in Lake Placid with him. I told him I was going to put some pictures of him and me on the dock, but he talked me out of that.
All right, I want to throw John the mic and the airtime here. You have built an epicenter of family, of fantastic craft beer. Dino's got the food covered at Pro Renata. I mean, I love the Hop Drone. I love going to your brand. I love going to your business. My wife loves it. Our boys love it. The setting is gorgeous. I I mean, it's literally one of the, I sincerely mean this, one of the top breweries in the market. It's one of the most picturesque settings in the market, arguably the most family-friendly brewery in the market, easily accessible. Parking is no difficult. I mean, it's just fantastic. How the heck can you possibly duplicate what you've done at Pro Renata 1.0?
So I say this to we have staff meetings every week. Everything matters. Everything. Staff matters. Food matters. Cleanliness of the bathrooms. Parking. Trash not on the property. The facilities. I challenge my crew every week. We have a great week. We'll celebrate that for about 20 minutes and it's next. What are we going to do this week? We never sit back and rest on our laurels with this. I retired from dentistry 2 weeks ago. I'm now working for my maintenance guy. For better or for worse for him, but I'm kind of his right hand at this point. So I'm a firm believer that people that are going to breweries really want to go to the big mothership. I don't want to create little satellite breweries, small little tasting rooms in the area. I want to go bigger, keep getting bigger. I think that's what people want. On a Saturday afternoon in Crozet, when the wineries start closing for their weddings at night, that's our busiest time of the week. People know Saturday afternoons, Friday afternoons in Crozet, that's the happening place to go. And I see a lot of that missing in Stanton because there just isn't a large facility there. And that's what we're trying to do with the steam plant, is create those large facilities that people can go to and gather in bigger numbers. Not necessarily for the Coke building, but definitely for the steam plant. And take what we've learned that works in Crozet and implement that over in Stanton, tweaking things a little bit. And I'm the building guy, I'm the vision guy, but again, I hire people and I'm not a micromanager. I let people do their jobs. I mean, Dino has just killed it with the food over at Pro Renata. The quality is so superior to what's been there in the past, and we envision that Dino is going to be going over to Stanton with us. And a big thing I'm going to announce here is Muthru is actually going to be coming to Pro Renata in September. So Dino's bought the franchises for Crozet and Stanton, and so we're going to be opening up a Muthru at Pro Renata.
Dino's watching on LinkedIn. Kyle Irvin watching the program right now. Used to live in Stanton. I believe he moved to Crozet, so he knows your beers inside and out. Bob Shada says, great vibes, music, people. I cannot wait for colder weather to crank up the fire pits in Crozet. Earlysville watching the program right now. Folks in Naples, Florida watching the program. Greenville, South Carolina watching the program. You got folks in Asheville, North Carolina watching the program. Frank Strassler, I'm going to get to your comment here in a matter of moments, who's given Chip some props here. I got to throw this to John. Carly Wagner says, you guys are absolutely geniuses. Deep Throat is watching the show. Anonymous. Deep Throat says this, I'm very curious for Deep Throat's got his own brand that people know through the show. I'm curious how Dr. Shave's differences in dealing with the city of Stanton and Albemarle County. You knew this was going to come.
Oh, boy.
He wants you to do this. Put in perspective Albemarle County versus Stanton when it comes to business development.
So I will segue. Things were very, very difficult initially because we were the first farm brewery to exist in Albemarle County. And Albemarle County did not know how to implement rules and regulations. Long and short of it is they called some people in Nelson County who explained what a farm winery, farm brewery is, and then things got a little bit better. I have to say post-COVID, things in Albemarle County have gotten better. I think there's some new people in those offices who are more business friendly. And I'll kind of leave it at that. The interactions I've had with Stanton City government have been phenomenal. Everybody wants to help. The speed at which things happening is amazing compared to what takes years in Albemarle County. And I think that's because this building has been sitting for 40 or 50 years decaying. And I think Stanton City government wants it to happen. I think zoning wants it to happen. And we just have to be a good neighbor to those around the facility and show them that we are going to be a good neighbor long term. And I give Stanton City so far, an A for their dealings that I've had with them.
Let's get Chip in the mix. He knows
Yeah,
Stanton inside and out.
Yeah, I would say the same exact thing, and this is where Stanton has really been pretty strong. We've been doing this for a while with them, but working with the city is exactly that. You're working with them. They want the businesses in there. They want to see that build out. They want to see these buildings get renovated, so they have a lot of motivation to get that economic engine going around those, and they really do work with us on all sorts of issues, whether it be the zoning or, in the case of the steam plant, we're going to have to look at even redistricting it a little bit to get us into the central business district. And we know we'll be able to work with them on that and kind of build that out a bit. But they've been great for both projects. We've been dealing with them on the steam plant for quite some time. They were instrumental in us being able to get what's called an industrial revitalization fund planning grant, which gave us some seed money to get the steam plant project started. So they have to manage all that and all the paperwork that goes through. They've been great getting that done.
11 states watching the program. Dave Riddick gives John props. Jimmy Gilbert gives John props right now. Barbara Eden says, Lars and I support this man's vision. Frank has this comment, which I'll throw to Chip, and then the show is yours on this. Let's hear it for preservation and rehabilitation of historic buildings. Thank you, Chip. Put that comment in perspective and what he means by that.
Yeah, rehab and reuse. We want to take a building that, probably was worth a couple $100,000 we started, turn around and renovate it. Yes, it means putting a lot of money into these buildings. Steam plant and coke plant combined, there'll be almost a $3 to $5 million investment in town by the time we're done. That will in turn generate businesses that are doing gosh knows how much in terms of what they'll generate. So that's exactly it. This is the whole trick to making them sustainable and using possibly every square inch that we can out of them, and doing it smartly. Even the buildings that we do, we try and make sure every floor gets used, every space gets used. It's not just putting some paint on it and fixing a couple things. It's about fully renovating them and planning out for the next 20 or 30 years. So no, absolutely, it's the success of the town, and it's a huge economic engine for town.
Folks, the show is absolutely blowing up. Nashville, Virginia is in the house on the program right now. Teresa Shields Harris, she says, I'm confused. Is Pro Renata coming to Stanton? Yes, Pro Renata is coming to Stanton. That's exactly what we're doing right now. For the viewers and listeners that are just tuning into the broadcast right now, John, the flip book, the vision, the image, Judah's showing photos on screen. Show is yours.
So again, with this Coke building, I've been trying to buy it for 6 years. The gentleman that had it before, shall we say, was a intense collector of many things. And this 33,000 square foot building was filled almost to the roof with things. So
wow. We
eventually signed on the deal, gave him 60 days to get everything out. He got about half of it out, and left most of what was in there for us to deal with. There was a lot of water damage to furniture and things like that in there that we didn't know initially, but one of the things that Brian's helped me with over there was we donated 25,000 children's books to some bookstores over there that were stored in a dry place. We let people in the community walk through the building and take anything that they wanted. We had a bunch of people that wanted to come in and take everything, and we tried to get them out of there so that a family that needed a bed or a dresser, they could take it versus someone taking everything and then reselling it. But the building is really an open warehouse, and that's the concept that we want to keep there, is an open beer garden area with manufacturing in the back, and really create and restore the Coke building to what it was 50 years ago. And I have to say this, we've gotten so many comments. The Coca-Cola mural on the front of the building will never change. Every post says, if they touch that, we'll boycott, we'll do this. That will remain in its position forever as long as I own the building.
I love it. I love it. Let's welcome the Richmond Times-Dispatch to the program. Let's welcome CBS 19 to the program. Teresa says, oh my God, I grew up in Stanton and I'm still here. I absolutely love this development. Silas is watching in Nashville. Brian Cobes, we're going to weave into the mix. Again, you're a guy who's got his pulse on so much stuff here. Walk us through of what you see the live, work, play potential when this project is finished for folks living in Stanton.
Well, for starters, the building is just so cool. Stanton has a huge art scene anyway, and with the Shakespeare Theater there, with Heifetz, the music school there, You see, any given day, you see 50 people walking down the street with backpacks, with cellos, with all this stuff. So there's a huge art and music scene already going on there as it is. The building has this kind of Art Deco and kind of 50s, 40s sort of look to it anyway. I think we can sort of enhance that as we're going along and fixing up the building. But, I guess we'll see how it plays out. But, I'm hoping that music plays a part in the new building. I think it'll definitely play a part in the steam plant building as we're going along.
Yeah.
So, I've already had a lot of musicians and bands reach out to me about, hey, when it gets open, I'd love to play there. So people are excited about it. I love Stanton. I mean, Redbeard is a great brewery in Stanton. We love those guys. They have a good music scene. They have regular music, but it's not a big music thing. We always want to go big, I guess, at Pro-Not.
All right, I've gotten that impression. I've gotten that impression. This question's come in the feed from Thomas. Thomas is watching in Louisa right now. Can the fellows put in perspective the development challenges, pros and cons of both projects? That's a great question. You want to start with that, Chip?
So maybe I'll go first on that because we've been at it for a little bit longer with the building. So we acquired that building, I think, in 2016. And never really got off the blocks with it. We couldn't find a great tenant. We had brewers approaching us from all over the place, and nothing was really panning out to where we would go with it. And in fact, we were in search of a partner over the past couple of years, and you're going to love this. That first partner was Champion. And we wound up investing significantly into Champion Brewing, losing our shirts along with many other folks.
Yes.
And, we were left then with a building with no partner and nowhere to go with it. And it was about a year later, after all that started to kind of fall apart, that we got to meet John and figure out that there was definitely a new path with it. I think one of the key things with the steam plant, and I don't think the photos are up there, when you look inside those photos, you can see all these pipes and everything that were there. That was all, we removed all that and abated the building a couple of years back. Now the challenge is to take this big, open, tall space and to turn it into something that's kind of a very unique music venues. So we're hoping to have multiple mezzanines in there, so there's different viewing angles in terms of how you can see things, and then also use some more of the property, eventually using the trestle that's up in the back as a walkway to go walk around the property up along the up against the active rail line that's there.
I love it. So this comment's come in on 3 different Facebook pages and through Twitter DM, a version of this comment. I think Deep Throat sums it up well, and I just got the comment again on Facebook Messenger. He says, Charlottesville city folks that are a bit high on their own supply should get over to Stanton immediately. There is competition. The bones of downtown Stanton are actually better than Charlottesville's. My friends from Palo Alto were there over the summer. They spent half their time at an Airbnb in Stanton, half an Airbnb in Charlottesville. She, the hubby, and the kids all prefer downtown Stanton. This from Spencer on one of the Facebook pages. If anyone trots or walks through downtown Stanton and looks to spend some money, they will realize immediately that downtown is set up much better than Charlottesville from a consumer quality of life standpoint. John, I'm going to weave you into the mix here. This topic, walk us through it here, what you see with downtown Stanton as quality of life, consumer quality of life, enjoyment, the pedestrian ability, bicycle ability, all these topics.
Yeah, I mean, we love Charlottesville, don't get me wrong, we love Crozet. I live in Crozet. I couldn't afford this in Charlottesville, and you talk about that all the time, Jerry, with the real estate. Put
the delta in perspective.
Boy, 5 to 1.
We're talking 5x. Mm-hmm. Okay, 5x if you wanted to do this in the city of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
To purchase that building, absolutely.
And good luck finding something that's industrial to do something like this in the city of Charlottesville. It does not exist.
It doesn't exist.
It does not exist.
So my wife, who is incredibly tolerant and patient and had been a supporter of this from day one, I need to throw a shout out to her. She was not thrilled with the idea of Pro Renata 2 and 3. And she said, we've got a lot of friends in Charlottesville who are developers who know big buildings like this, because this is far bigger than anything I've done. I took 15 people over to that building to get their opinions to alleviate some of her fears, and 14 of those people wanted to buy into that project. We're talking to 2 people right now. One of us is a developer. Shout out to Robbie. I'll leave that at that. But he's developed a bunch of these buildings before, and my wife knows him well, and she's like, if he's on board, then this is probably a great project. And for what we paid for that building, which I'm not going to say it's public knowledge, you can look at it. One, you can't find it in Charlottesville, and if you did, it would be 5 to 6 times as expensive.
I'm not even sure you can even find it in Albemarle County. I'm helping a client bring something, not in the beer business, and I won't spill the beans here because I think the community is going to be incredibly impressed with what's happening. Something to market that's an omni-experiential business, and we literally had to lift over every stone before even trying to make this a reality in Albemarle County. Why don't we go down that road? Why do we think that industrial or light industrial or anything with, like, say, 30, 40-foot ceiling height, which is a lot of businesses need space like this, massive open spaces, why do we think that does not exist here? Maybe that's a Chip question.
Maybe it's a Chip question.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
you're
I
the
don't know if I can
development
answer
king.
for so much for Charlottesville, but I know even where we are, where, Robin Miller and Dane Hammond just acquired they acquired it a while ago, but acquired the Stanton Steam Company, which was an old steam cleaning shop that was in downtown Stanton. They've renovated that into 34 apartments, and I think possibly more than that, and some commercial spaces, and they haven't even done the whole property yet. They've got 2/3 left. But those properties, they're running out too. They're harder and harder to find, but it's also getting that maximum use out of that space. You just can't acquire that big empty building. You've got to find a new way to use it. And, whether it's a mix of residential or commercial, that's what's kind of making it work when you find these, but they are becoming harder and harder to find. That was one of the last big buildings in downtown Stanton that are available. We've had a couple of them get acquired recently. So this was a good find, over there too, in terms of what has happened. So.
And one of the things with the Coke building, it was, when I saw this 6 years ago, I took my brewer over there at the time. This building was set up for a brewery. There are 3 or 4 or 500 feet of floor drains already in this building. The floors are 18-inch thick concrete. We're redoing, all the electric heating, air, and so forth. But the building was set up with 3 loading zones, huge garage doors, high ceilings, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff that was already there. That's important when you're watching every dollar. Every dollar is important.
I wanted to come back to your comment, though, about Stanton and kind of its interaction in downtown. The walkability of Stanton is huge, and one of the things
That's what people want.
Yeah, well, and it changed. I mean, frankly, for Stanton, it really changed at COVID. We
That's what I
had
was gonna
a
say.
very innovative city manager at that time, Steve, wherever you're at. I think you're in the area here. Who actually changed and gave us the opportunity to dine in, dine out, which was the whole shutting down of the Beverly Street. We've had a pretty instrumental Stanton Downtown Association that was able to get all the businesses on board on a block to actually allow that street to close down, and all the logistics that have gone with that. And between the city and STDA, they were able to pull that together in a pretty good way. That started to really change how people were interacting with businesses there. And it's become a thing that from, when it starts at the end, I guess, beginning of April and ends at October, that people really come to enjoy and has really changed the engine down there for, all the businesses across the board. So it's become a much more walkable space.
The show is on fire right now. I see at least 36 questions that I don't think we're going to be able to get to right here. Todd Raff says, to put it in perspective, it's at least 5x the cost in Charlottesville and Albemarle County, and a whole lot of red tape and bureaucracy when compared to Stanton. Kyle Irvin has this comment, which I think is a very good one. Why don't I throw this to Brian, and then John, you jump in the mix as well. Will the music hall be open regularly? What's the music gig schedule going to look like? And why does the group see the need for 2 buildings so close to each other? I can kind of answer the last one, but I don't want to. You guys are the experts. It's tied to demand, though. Let's let these guys hear this. Music schedule, same kind of gigs, same kind of talent, hours for you, Brian.
The music, I mean, we hope it'll be similar to what Pro Renata has going on now with bands coming through. But I mean, I guess it all depends on the city and noise ordinances and things that go along with that. We want to make the neighbors happy as well, So we'll find out how that's going to play out, at least for the Coke portion of it. For the steam plant portion of it, I mean, I envision regular music there. I mean, Friday, Saturday night. So. I hope so. I mean, that's the way I see it playing out, and that'll be everything, all kinds of music, I see everything from jazz to rock bands to duets and just something more simple. But we'll just see what the demand is for. There's so many great. I think we can hit a new market now. I think we can hit more of Harrisonburg now for Stanton, which is not really an area I get a lot of requests for bands that want to play from Harrisonburg. I can imagine I'll start hearing probably more from Harrisonburg type bands and.
Fantastic. John, jump in. Johnny Ornalis, owner of Guadalajara and El Mariachi Zion's Crossroads, just shared the show. Donna Williams giving you some props right now. We love you, Donna Williams.
Hi, Donna.
The show is yours. Where do you want to go on this?
So along with Brian, what I think we've done well at Pro Renata, we have good beer, we have good food, we have a good location. The one thing that we're really, really good at is music. We spent a lot of money, and this will shout out to the Sound Live with Mark and Scott and Nate and Vlad. I don't know Vlad's name, but I nicknamed him Vlad. We built that building for sound. There's R59 insulation. When that building is closed up, you can barely hear sound outside. We plan on doing the same things over in Stanton. There is no way in the world that we are going to be able to have an open air facility in downtown Stanton or at the steam plant. We are having sound engineers come into these buildings and design this stuff. Chip's already met our guys. I've had them out to my building a number of times. We are going to design this with the neighborhoods intact, and we're going to follow every sound ordinance that is out there. We are not going to be bad neighbors. Along that line of bands and so forth, I got to mention some bands here.
Oh, please. God, the show is blowing up.
You better
right now.
open it up with the Barons and the fact that they've already played at the steam plant.
They're the first on my list.
Yes.
If you haven't seen the Barons, you have got to go see the Barons. They are our favorite band at Pro Renata. They are out of this world. We're coming up, Brian and I came up with a list of the top 10 bands that play at Pro Renata, that if they're there, you need to go see them.
I would hope Coda and Marie are on that list.
They are here.
Whiskey, right?
I'm going to ring them down. We're making a T-shirt that has the top 10 bands you don't want to miss at Pro Renata. Here's a list. Barons, Brisk, they are spectacular, a 90s 2000 band. Cherry Red, they're a Rolling Stones band. Chamomile and Whiskey, absolutely. Who Shot John? Full Moon Fever is a killer show every time. They're out of Richmond, Brian?
Yes.
They are spectacular. Films on Song is a local bartender who's at Far Downers that is so much better than he thinks he is. They're incredible. And he only plays his own stuff. Kendall Street and Disco Risque. If any of those bands are playing anywhere in this town, you need to go see them. They're all spectacular.
I love it. So this is a fair question. James Watson, I saw this as well. He says the neighbors appear to be concerned about limited parking spaces at the Coca-Cola site. Is there a plan to alter the site to accommodate parking? I'll also add what's percolating as well. There's some concerns about gentrification.
Sure.
I think that's a fair topic to cover on the show. Gentlemen, the topic is yours. Who wants to start with that one?
So we'll start with the parking. We are actively looking, any business that is on West Beverly Street is only dealing with street parking. We understand their concerns in that neighborhood. We are actively talking about leasing parking from some neighbors. We're actively trying to acquire properties that could be turned into parking. We are sympathetic to that, which is why we're trying to get our zoning rechanged to B2. Right now, we can do what we need to do under our current zoning, but we have to open a restaurant.
But tell us like the zoning. I mean, we want to keep this very simple here.
Yep.
Walk us through this.
So B1 zoning says we have to have a restaurant, we can do a brew pub.
Okay.
We're trying to get to B2 zoning, which says you can be a manufacturing brew pub, no restaurant. That's what we're trying to do. That means I have to have 4 employee cars on site. That's it, because we're not doing a restaurant. I believe in my last couple of years in Stanton, people walk in that town. The trolley will pick you up from downtown, drop you off at the front of our building, go around Gypsy Hill Park, and drop you back off for 25 cents. I'll comp you 25 cents on your beer. We are 3 blocks down from Mary Baldwin. People are going to walk to this facility. There are thousands and thousands of people that live within a half mile of that building.
Chip, jump in.
Yeah, and the walkability is getting extended over towards the steam plant as well. So the steam plant, fortunately, our neighbors on the back side is a railroad and a railroad yard, so we don't have that as big of a noise concern, but we do have residents that are across the street. So the city's got pretty clear ordinances there in terms of how we have to deal with sound. No problem, we can handle that. But the walkability to the steam plant, for a long time, it's been 2 lanes in each direction, pretty busy. Actually, people come down that hill pretty quickly. The city's getting ready to do, with VDOT, to get ready to do a road diet diet through there. The folks over there, actually, VDOT was out there today, I think, starting to site survey everything that's going to be happening. But in about 2025, they should start building a new traffic circle, new walkways, guards, crossing guards or crossing walks, so that everyone can be safe through there. Should be a huge change in making it more accessible. But yes, Stanton's a walking town across the board. And so, having the steam plant out there, is the event space. We'll put a lot of that traffic over there and not have it on top of the neighborhoods back where the Coke building is.
John McConnell watching the program. He says, this is all very exciting. I hope we can be a part of this. Is that a musician?
He is, yes. He's with New Potato Caboose. So
Yep.
they're playing there in October.
He's watching the program right now, the local newspaper on the show right now. We have 2 papers and 2 TV stations literally watching the gentleman on the network right now. Matt Daring watches the program and says, road diets and traffic circles, I'm in absolute love right now. James Watson says, jobs will the project create? How many local jobs? That's a great question.
So right now, we've already spent $75,000 and used all local contractors in Stanton.
Oh, let's give him some props for that. That's awesome. I love that.
I haven't brought anybody over from Charlottesville. It's been local Stanton people. We've remediated 2 3,000-gallon diesel tanks that were in the ground. We're using local asbestos people to remediate the building. Removing all the furniture, local Stanton business. Eventually, at Pro Renata here, we have 40 employees. I would say 30 of those are part-time. They have other jobs. I've got attorneys, I've got doctors, I've got nurses, I've got other people that just want to work there and have a fun time. It's not a stressful job. They're meeting people. So there'll be a lot of part-time people. There'll be full-time jobs. I envision 30 or 40 people between the 2 facilities once we get things up and going.
I also want to highlight this. These are the type of jobs that are not necessarily tied to science, technology, engineering, data, and math, which we're seeing gentrifying communities very quickly, like Charlottesville and Albemarle County. These are jobs and hires done within the community where folks that live in the community can take the jobs, as opposed to incremental positions that are being hired from outside Central Virginia, which leads to significant gentrification. That should be championed. That should be championed and highlighted. This is a hell of a question right here from Kelsey, who's watching the program outside McLean, Virginia. She says, we are moving down to Charlottesville because McLean has become too crowded, too congested, and just too much with 3 kids, all of them under 10. We're considering Charlottesville or Albemarle, but the inventory levels are so low, we're not able to find anything to purchase. Maybe we should consider Stanton. Can you ask the gentleman on set what the housing system is like and if they expect any elevated housing to be built around this, as Jerry said, live, work, play ecosystem? That's an effing great question right there. Chip, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, I mean, the inventory in Stanton is not super high right now. It's been, a lot of folks have been coming over from Charlottesville, from northern DC, or from DC area and outside the area constantly. I mean, one of the things that we've seen change in Stanton is I used to be able to go down the street and you see lots of people that you knew. Today, there are all new faces, people you don't recognize, because so many people have moved into the area to join the community and be part of that. So start looking in Stanton. I would definitely say give that a good look. But there is...
Like right now.
Yeah, now, and you'll definitely find some apartments for sure. Houses are, they're popping up, but pop up and not quick, so, because they don't sit long on the market.
Do you, with your vision, and Chip, you clearly are a man of vision. I mean, you've been doing this for 30 years. You got it in 1993.
Well, that building we bought in 16.
Okay,
So,
16, but you moved to Stanton in 93.
93.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you've seen some really difficult times for downtown Stanton.
Yep.
I mean, what was the vacancy rate you said at one time?
I think it was about 40% on Beverly Street when we first came up.
I mean, that's borderline ghost town.
It was very quiet.
Okay, very quiet. So you clearly have a lot of skin in the game, a lot of money, a lot of sweat equity, and 30 years of your life in this community here. Do you see this corridor around your buildings and what Pro Renata is trying to do to turn into like maybe a Scott's Addition in Richmond? Are you familiar with Scott's
A little
Addition?
bit, yeah.
Okay, so Scott's Addition, for those that don't know, is an epicenter of breweries in Richmond. And when the breweries made the area cool, apartments and condos and for sale real estate followed. Do you see something like that happening here?
So what I see for Stanton is that, and I've seen it all along, is that all the businesses kind of help each other out. So having Pro Renata come in, even with both locations, is going to bring other business in. Not everyone's going to spend 100% of their time at, whether it be up at the Coke building tasting or down at the steam plant for event. They're going to go and stay at the hotels. They're going to go to the other buildings. So I think or other businesses that are there, and kind of it'll build up over time. So I in general, don't feel like we're going to see this huge, new addition, lots of real estate downtown. What we're going to see is more use of what we have and more traffic down there. So,
Debbie Smith Goodbar giving John some props right now. 12 effing states watching you boys right here on the program. Multiple folks have said this can't happen in Charlottesville and Albemarle County anymore because the University of Virginia is buying any kind of property like this up and converting it into academic buildings for what they are trying to do. A lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. Brian, let's get you in the mix. This has come in the feed from 3 different Facebook pages. How do we get on the Booker's radar for our bands to play at this venue?
To play in the Stanton venue. Well,
How about either one?
you can email me, brianc@prnbrewery.com. So yeah, I get a lot of emails from bands,
many a
and
week?
probably
30,
20, 30 a week now.
Requests?
Probably. Requests people want to play.
Good gosh.
So it's,
that's awesome.
that's a lot of time to wade through these emails and try to figure out, the right fit. So I just recommend sending me links to your music.
Make it easy.
Make it easy, make it clickable. I can just click on it and I can see immediately, what you're all about, whether you're what Pro Renata is kind of looking for, going to fill whatever need.
What is Pro Renata looking for?
We're looking to bring people in, have a good time. So, I'm looking for bands that have energy, that sort of don't look at playing at Pro Renata as just playing another gig. They're excited to play there. They're actively promoting themselves.
I mean, your venue is state of the art.
Yes.
Your venue radiates positive energy. Like when you're at a packed house, for example, I was there for Chamomile Whiskey. Dude,
We have a
it was
picture.
like,
Judah, do you have the picture of that chamomile whiskey show?
if you could put that on screen, that would be amazing, J-Dubs. I think you got it on screen. Look at that, Judah, you're the man. Thank you very much. I literally was there, and the energy was palpable. It was almost like a blanket around us. It was one of the most fun times we have absolutely had
Felt like
at any
it was
venue.
needed. It was needed, like for that area in Crozet, because there's a lot of places in Charlottesville to go see music and they're great places, but it felt like there's not really that sort of thing in Crozet, and there's no reason why there wasn't. And I think people just were extremely happy to see something like that. See a venue that actually cares about music, to invest in the acoustics and the sound system and hire the right people to make it a good experience for everybody. So I think that's why that energy is there.
The travel entrepreneur, the hospitality entrepreneur, Andre Xavier is watching, owner of Seville Hop-On Tours. He says, I'm genuinely excited for PRN. John Bryant and their entire team have done an amazing job. It is awesome to see their growth. Well done, boys. Multiple people are asking about if there's a shuttle between the 2 locations planned. Any thoughts on that?
I think the first show is going to be between Steam Plant and Coke. I'm not sure we're doing the other route.
Okay. Here's a fantastic question that's from Louise, who's watching in Williamsburg. Did the owner of this business ever anticipate this brand being what it is today? Whenever we come through Charlottesville, my husband and I are both alumni. We stop at PRN if possible because we love King Family Vineyards. They close, we go to Pro Renata. Did he ever anticipate it transforming into what it is now?
Never in a million years. Never. And that's why, I called my best friend a month after opening, and, again, I'll use that line from Jaws. We're going to need a bigger boat. And we have, I think, 15, 16 acres where we are in Crozet. We have plenty of room to grow, but again, it's about a septic line. And if we don't have a septic line, we can't get much bigger than we are. And we've tried to work with
I'm getting that
officials.
On the feed. Okay, you're a man of tremendous character and respect and integrity. Some folks are saying you may be dancing around this a little bit. Can you offer a little insight here? And he's going to do it in a way without. I'll let you do it any way you want.
So again, everything that we have at that brewery goes into 4 different septic fields. I have $250,000 in septic fields, and we'll be looking at additional septic fields coming up. We've asked, there is a septic line down and it stops at the high school entrance. We are 1,000 feet outside of the growth zone and have been told 5, 6, 7 times, no.
Get out.
It's, hey, can we sit down and have a conversation on this? Can we help fund a septic line coming down? I can't wait any longer, and that's where the decision came to move to a different facility. Now, nothing's going to change in Crozet. We are staying there. It's my baby. It's what we created. We just want to expand the brand. But there comes a point, if you don't have enough electricity to do something, you can't add on. We don't have septic capacity to deal with this where we are.
A natural follow-up question to that would be, have you guys done projections of the economic impact of what you guys are going to do for Stanton once you're up and running?
This is really interesting. A group of Darden students came to us about, I don't know, a year ago, and they did a full breakdown of scalability, cost savings, what Stanton looks like, what you can do, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah? Can you put it in perspective at all?
It's going to help.
Okay, it's going to help. All right, that's my cue not to push any further.
It's going to help.
I totally get that. I think it's going to have a massive impact here. Maybe that topic for you, Chip. How do you see that turning into other possibilities?
Yeah, I think that we're absolutely going to see just a significant impact across the board for downtown. I think it's not just us. I'm going to come back to the point of that we're going to do something there. It might be big for us, but it's also going to be all that waterfall that passes through the rest of town, because people will be staying in hotels, going to the other businesses. That's where it's really going to make a big difference. So it's not just what happens on our site, it's when it falls out to the rest of town.
Jamie Kirk watching the program in Gloucester, Virginia. We love when you watch the program, viewers and listeners. If you have any questions, put them in the feed. This is a great one. Ginny Hu retweets us on social media. The show is literally going viral right now as we highlight Pro Renata. I'll throw this to you guys. Do you see a potential third or fourth iteration for PRN, or is that putting the cart before the horse? You are a big picture guy. I literally see, I'm sitting across from the table from him, and I see the wheels turning in his mind right now. Do we see 3 or 4 possible brand iterations, new locations?
Not even on the radar.
Not on the radar?
Not on the radar.
Okay.
This is, from the beginning, I've said when Pro Renata stops becoming fun, I'll shut the whole thing down. And it's super fun right now. I left my dental practice. I've retired from that, and it's super fun. I enjoy what I'm doing right now. It's not even on the radar to do another. We've never distributed beer. It's just not an environment I want to get into. We want to make our own beer, serve it at our own things, control that product from start to finish. That's where we want to be.
Jamie Kirk says, I love my Pro Renata. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 media outlets watching these guys on the program literally as we speak. This is the power of social media used for the good. I see 1 supervisor, 2 counselors, a planning commissioner, and folks tied to the Stanton government literally watching the program as we speak right now. Chip, I want you to champion anything, and you got to thank some people. You've already done. I haven't forgotten. I want to give you an opportunity. We're an hour in. Time flies when you're having fun with friends here. Anywhere you want to go, I would love if you take an opportunity to champion, spotlight, highlight trends, possibilities of Stanton, anything else we haven't covered.
I'd like to put a shout out to a couple of the businesses downtown that that are going to really hopefully benefit from this. Billy Opal, one of our newest tenants, that's in a renovated building that we just finished. Cider Sir Mars, who has been instrumental, along with Redbeard and other businesses down in the Wharf District that have changed that area. Remedy Burger, who has been a major supplier of food for John and his crew that have been over there.
More Remedy Burger.
Lots of Remedy Burgers. So I'd like a good shout out to these guys for all that they're, and supporting downtown and what they do. And hopefully with what we're bringing in, they're all going to benefit from that further. So
Todd Raff, owner of Blue Toad Hard Cider, one of John's inner circle friends, has a comment, and John is just, I knew you would be responding to this. He goes, Jerry, I hope John invited you in his big bad RV to hang down here at Blue Toad Presents Rockfish River Rodeo this weekend and pound some Pro Renata brews. Hey, I would love that invitation. And then he has LOL all over the feed right now. Todd Rath, you are good people. We love your support. Brian Cope, some closing thoughts for you, my friend, and then we'll go to Dr. John.
I just feel fortunate to be in this position right now. I mean, I love this industry. I love the town of Stanton, and my wheels are always turning too when I see a project, and sometimes the follow-through is not always there, but I like being involved with people that are go-getters. And when John grasps the project, you know it's going to be good. He gets excited about these things, and it's just fun to watch the energy taking off. We talked about this four years ago, this building, you know, and it's cool to see this meeting with him and Chip, and it's cool. It's going to be interesting to see how Stanton embraces this new business. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is I'm going to throw this to Chip and then get John, a close here with John. This is a fantastic question that just came in. Alexandra, I'm going to potentially mess up your last name. Is it Osherowitz? This question is directed to Chip Clark. How can the city of Stanton entice developers to create more affordable housing? What about restoring or maximizing the housing potential of downtown buildings like the Clock Tower? And is it the Masonic building?
Masonic building.
Masonic
Yep.
building. The show is yours on that topic, and then John, we'll close with you.
So I think actually both those owners of those buildings have been doing some renovations and looking at what they can do to put more residential components or residential spaces into their buildings. Both of them have existing residential. As to affordable, that's always been one of the challenges. Building and renovating a historic building isn't necessarily result in affordable housing. But I think Stanton's got other opportunities for doing that outside of the immediate downtown districts. Hopefully we'll see more of that over time, but right now we're still seeing that renovation take place in the buildings and usually result with a little bit higher than the affordable rate that most people want to see. All the downtown apartments are just a little bit more expensive because of where they are. But over time, more spaces, they'll find it.
I love it. John, the show is yours.
So Pro Renata is nothing without the people that come there and the people that have worked with us over the years. Big shout out to Brian. Brian has been with me from day one. His vision, my vision, a lot of what you see there came from Brian. So hats off to Brian. Bands love him. He created the music there, and without Brian, none of this happens. I got to mention Melissa, who was with me in the dental office for 16 years, has now come over and she's running the brewery for me.
Really?
She's my work wife.
That's awesome.
We've never had a disagreement, an argument, nothing. She knows her lane, I know mine, and we work great together. Judy works harder than anybody that I have at that brewery. I've got two great GMs that allow me not to have to be there all the time. There are four of us that own Pro Renata. My best friend, my younger brother owns a portion, and the Greers own a portion of it. If there is a financial question in the world, I go to Michael Greer. If there is a detailed spreadsheet, something that needs to be done, or an idea about pricing and stuff, Gina Greer, there's nobody better. She dots her I's and crosses her T's. I got to say a shout out, because if I don't, he's going to call me on the way home. Rockin' Rod Phillips.
Oh, I love Rod Phillips. I see him all the time at the board set. I'll tag him on this. Rod, are you watching right now? Keep going, John.
So Rod has been an unbelievable sponsor and supporter of the brewery. He helps with bands that come in. He puts them up at hotels. Remax, he is doing such a great job with that branding there. We're going to be looking for some corporate sponsors over in Stanton, and we're always looking for more at Pro Renata. We're going to put in a really cool kids play set, and if that's in your niche of business, we'd love to talk to you. I've got maintenance guys that I could not do this without them. I know Todd has already chimed in twice. If I told him I'd do it 3 times. Todd's great. He's an idea guy for me. Dino and the bands that come to the brewery. That's what makes us different, is we have the best sound system, the best sound guys, and a cool environment. Come listen to music. I listed the top 10 bands. There are many more bands that come there that are great, but these 10, they love coming to play at Pro Renata. They say we treat them so well there. We love our bands. I'm so pumped up when the Barons or Chamomile Whiskey or Brisk or some of these other bands are coming, because I know we're going to have a great weekend. It's a fun place.
I love it. Peyton Alley says, hot rod, ramrod. Damn right.
Peyton is the lead singer of the Barons. He is spectacular.
I love what's happening here, guys. This is what the show is all about, what the network is all about. It's championing people doing positive things in community. That's what these guys are doing. I love, love, love what they are doing. I cannot wait to support you. I cannot wait to sing your praises. I cannot wait to offer any exposure or influence and platform. You guys are creating jobs. You're driving economic growth. You're taking dilapidated buildings and huffing life into them and bringing them to life. What you guys are doing is special.
Jerry, thank you for everything you've done, and a shout out. Jerry knew about this 4 or 5 months ago, and I told him I'd give him the exclusive, and there was a little mix-up and a council meeting, and there was some press there, and it came out. But Jerry kept his word, and thank you for promoting us. Thanks for promoting other businesses in this area. We appreciate what you do, and your word is your bond.
Thank you for saying that. It's very true. Thank you, John. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Nice meeting you as well. Thank you so much. And nice to get not just I love Charlottesville, but I love Stanton.
Yeah.
So it was good to get a good shout out for town.
Absolutely, Brian Combs. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, thank you.
Thank you.
Judah
Judah, thank
Wickower, dude, you crushed it, dude. Rotating those photos in. Judah Wickower, single, ready to mingle, ladies. I'm going to keep doing it right there. Judah, we're going to have dates lined up for you for a long, long time.
If you'd like to come to Pro Renato on your first date, we'll spot you.
Oh, I think he's going to literally take you up on that. Look at that. He's
Pick a
blushing
band,
over
we'll get you
there.
VIP tickets.
Oh, Judah Wickower, I love
getting red.
that. I see that? He's getting red right now. So that's the program, guys. Today, y mañana, our show that spotlights the Hispanic community is tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. And then we're back in the saddle with the I Love CVille show at 12:30 tomorrow. The show is all about celebrating and championing not just the best of Charlottesville, but really the best of Central Virginia and the Commonwealth. Thank you kindly for joining us on a fantastic day to be above the mud. For the fellas, my name is Jerry Miller. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. Take care. He's going to tell us when the mics are on, fellas. The cameras are on. We'll be off here shortly.
He knows.
Isn't the dog impressive?
That's so good.
She knows
Pretty good.
immediately.